Hello everyone, it is me, Dr. Laserbeam, and this is League of Legends 101, where I go over certain parts of the game, League of Legends. Today, we'll be talking about Shen, the Eye of the Twilight, or as I like to call him, that purple guy. Shen is a tanky top laner and support, who has a kit that is dedicated to the safety of others. Shen often gives up control of his own lane in order to protect another lane or get them ahead, but scales well into late game. Pros to Shen are: he's a fantastic guardian, easy to farm with, a good duelist, has a global presence, and scales great into late game. Cons to Shen are: he's weak early game, often risks losing tower early, and requires a ton of multitasking skills. Shen works well with champions who have a global presence and dives into the enemy team. Such champions are Pantheon, Twisted Fate, Zed, and Nocturne. Shen is strong against diving champions or melee duelist champions. Such champions are Malphite, Pantheon, Riven, and Fiora. Shen is weak against ranged champions as well as safe laning champions. Such champions are Yorick, Vladimir, Olaf, and Jace. For Shen's runes, I suggest a mix of scaling health, flat armor, and magic resist runes. Movement speed or cooldown runes are also advised. For Shen's masteries, you'll want to go 12 into Cunning and 18 into Resolve if you are a support. If you are top, then go 12 into Ferocity and 18 into Resolve. If you are against a melee champion, then I would advise taking Grasp of the Undying, and if you are not facing a melee champion, I would suggest that you default to Bond of Stone or Courage of the Colossus. Now onto Shen's abilities. First we have his passive, which is Kai Barrier. After casting the spell, Shen gets a shield. This is a fairly straightforward but useful ability. This allows Shen to trade well in lane and give himself a little protection if he's in trouble. Basically, when your passive is up, trade with the enemy, and if not, play passive until the passive is up. Next, we have his Q, which is Twilight Assault. Shen recalls his Spirit Blade, which is that giant sword next to him, back to him. Upon its return, he deals extra damage based on the target's max health if the sword collides with an enemy champion. Affected champions are also slowed if they run away from Shen. This ability, combined with Shen's passive, is usually how Shen trades with champions in general. When engaged with the enemy, a Shen player should use this ability in order to fight back. The extra shield and extra damage will help Shen trade with other champions fairly well, and is especially effective versus melee champions. Shen's Q also helps with finishing off low health opponents, and overall just giving you an extra boost in terms of damage on the spot. Now onto his W, which is Spirit's Refuge. Shen creates a small shield field around his Spirit Blade, which causes all allies within the shield to block basic attacks by enemy champions. While Shen is overall weak to ranged champions, this is a fantastic ability against them. As a support, this can be used to get better trades in lane and protect your ADC with ease. As a top laner, this is very useful in lane for your own protection and is often the difference between life and death for you. Use this ability when you're about to be hit by a basic attack or in the middle of a team fight to give your team extra protection during it. Just note, however, that wherever Shen's Spirit Blade is, that's where you place your shield, so make sure you know where your blade is before you use this ability. Next, we have his E, which is Shadow Dash. Shen dashes in one direction, which taunts any enemies in his path. This ability is fantastic for picking off enemies or turning the tides of a battle around. Basically, you want to use this ability on enemy carries for offensive reasons and against the nearest tank for defensive reasons such as peeling. In any case, something to note about this ability is that it's rather thin, and once you go in, there is no way out. So before you use this ability, make sure you know what your objective is and what course of action you take beforehand. Last, we have his ult, which is Stand United. Shen channels his energy on an allied champion, which grants him a shield and teleports Shen to the target after an initial cast. This ability in lane is fantastic for saving your teammates or helping out in hard engages, but at the cost of leaving your lane open or your ADC supportless, considering the teleport is to another lane or the jungle. After learning this the hard way, I have learned that trying to do a last second save or waiting until your target is low to ult is actually a fairly bad strategy. Instead, it is best to teleport when the enemy has used their movement abilities already or the target is a little above half health. Remember that if your target dies, you don't teleport to their bodies, and you will lose a lot of map pressure in the process. Also, when using this ability, it would be wise to use your W immediately upon reaching the target, since the blade comes with you as well. For Shen's skill order, I'd suggest upgrading your Q first, followed by your E, and then your W. This applies to every lane and any matchup that Shen is up against. For Shen's starting items, you'll want to go Relic Shield, Health Pots, and the Warding Totem if you are a support, and go Doran's Shield, Health Pots, and the Warding Totem if you're top. Shen has a very flexible build path and as such has no core items, with the exception of a Ruby Sightstone if he's support. As a top laner, he should consider building Warmog's Armor, Sunfire Cape, Dead Man's Plate, Spirit Visage, Banshee's Veil, Wit's End, ZZ Portal, Mercury's Treads, and Ninja Tabby. As a support, he should consider building Knight's Vow, Locker of the Iron Salami, ZZ Portal, Randuin's Omen, Redemption, Mercury's Treads, and Ninja Tabby. Focus on health, armor, magic resist, and utility. For spells, I suggest going Flash plus Exhaust if you are support, and then if you are top, go Flash plus Teleport or Flash plus Ignite. For Shen's early game as a support, you are fairly trash to be honest. If you're against the melee support, you can trade okay, but if you're against ranged supports, it would be wise to play like a pussy until 6. If you are top, you should do fine against most matchups if they are not ranged. If they are ranged, use your passive and W as much as you can to withstand the poke the enemy laner should be pumping out. Don't be aggressive unless you got a grasp in either position, and look to capitalize on the mistakes of your enemies. During the mid game, your teleport will be of great use to everyone on your team. As a top laner, this will allow you to split and create pressure on other parts of the map away from the action. As a support, you still have not hit your power spike yet, but you should be getting stronger. Focus on creating as much pressure as possible and use your taunt to make the enemy team scared. Once it reaches late game, support Shen is a monster. You should be peeling for your carries and making sure that you get as many people taunted as possible and overall just control the situation at hand. The same strategy applies to top Shen as well. This has been League of Legends 101. Let me know if you found this video to be helpful, and for all you Shen players out there, let's bring them back to bot lane, shall we? I feel like I'm the only Shen support around and it's kind of lonely.